Okay, so if you are watching this right now, there's a very good chance you recently opened up an envelope from your child's school and those exact words, at risk for reading difficulties, stared right back at you. And let's be honest, that moment makes your stomach drop. You probably read those words twice, just hoping they would suddenly say something different. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to look really closely at what that letter actually means, and more importantly, how you can take total control of the situation. We'll be drawing on the amazing insights of Dr. Leah Skinner to break this all down for us. So Dr. Skinner is a dyslexia specialist, but perhaps even more importantly, she is a mother of 5 sons. 4 of them are dyslexic. As a woman and a mother who has personally navigated these exact same school systems, she understands this fear intimately. She says, I know this worry from both sides. And I want you to hear that. That fear you're feeling right now, it is completely valid. But as we're going to see, it absolutely doesn't have to be paralyzing. All right, really quickly, here is our roadmap. Number 1, the at-risk letter explained. 2, decoding the school jargon. 3, why early action matters. 4, limits of school support. And 5, your next best steps. Basically, we're going to decode the confusion and leave you with a solid, actionable plan. Okay, jumping into section 1, the at-risk letter explained and exactly what the recent California mandate means for your family. So for the 2025 to 2026 school year, California kicked off a brand new mandate, screening about 1.2 million kindergarten through second grade students for early signs of reading difficulties. And the crazy thing is, most parents had absolutely no warning this was coming. Your child took a test called the Reading Difficulties Risk Screener, or RDRS. But what actually is a screener? Well, think of it exactly like a vision check at your pediatrician's office, right? It just tells you to look closer. It flags that a reading gap exists, but it absolutely cannot diagnose why it exists. And it definitely cannot diagnose dyslexia. Moving right along to section 2, decoding the school jargon. Let's translate some of that really intimidating language you're probably seeing on reports from things like M-Class, Dibbles, or Amira. Let's start with the big one, the term at risk. When you see that, your fear immediately hears a label, right? Like a verdict or some permanent category for your child. But what it actually means is simply an early warning. It's a warning that a reading gap is there. And listen, right now, that gap is smaller than it will ever be again. This isn't a life sentence. It's just this massive opportunity to close the gap with the right teaching while it's still super manageable. Next up, you might see the phrase below benchmark. Fear instantly translates this to failing, or falling below some permanent scary line. But guys, a benchmark is merely the expected mark for this specific exact point in the school year. Being below it just means your child is behind right now, and they just need targeted help to catch up. It is not a failure. It is simply a prompt for you to go to the school and ask, okay, what specific targeted support is going to begin right now? Then there is well below benchmark. Now, fear hears that your child is at the absolute bottom of the class and something is terribly, permanently wrong. What it actually means is just very practical. Your child needs intensive, focused support immediately. We're talking smaller groups, more time. The crucial takeaway here is that children in this specific band, they rarely catch up on their own. The system flagged it early for a reason. So this is the band that requires immediate, fast action from you. Finally, you're likely going to see a composite score. Fear hears that this is the one ultimate number greeting your child's entire intelligence. But actually, scratch that. It's really just a combined score of several smaller tests. And honestly, that big number actually hides what's really going on. Please do not let this overall number scare you. You must always ask the school for the underlying subtest scores. That is exactly where you're going to see which specific skills your child is missing. It's like opening up the hood of a car to see what's actually misfiring. All right, now that we've decoded the fear, let's dive into section 3, why early action matters, and this golden window of opportunity that you have right now. We really need to shift from the emotional impact of that letter to the hard science of your child's brain development. Humans are not born with brains wired to read. We are wired for speech naturally, but reading, that is entirely a human invention. A child's brain literally has to build the connections between sounds and letters completely from scratch. And this brilliantly illustrates why timing is absolutely everything. It's all about neuroplasticity. A young brain builds these brand new connections far faster and with significantly less effort than an older brain does. This biological reality is exactly why kindergarten through second grade is this golden, fleeting window for reading intervention. It is quite literally the path of least resistance for their little brains. And this all builds into the compounding cost of waiting. Because that early window, it doesn't reopen. Look at this. What might take just 6 months of direct help to fix at age 6 can take up to 18 months of intensive help to fix at age 10. That means if you decide to just wait and see, you are essentially signing your child up for 3 times the amount of work to get the exact same result. No way do we want to do that. Which brings us to Section 4, Limits of School Support. It's time for a bit of a reality check about relying solely on the public school system. So this is a pretty stark statistic from a longitudinal study in the Journal of Educational Psychology. 88% of children who are behind in reading at the end of first grade are still behind their classmates in fourth grade if they don't get the right outside intervention. They might make a little progress, sure, but the gap between them and their peers, it rarely closes. In fact, unfortunately, it usually grows. Now, I want to be very, very clear about this. This is absolutely not about teachers failing your child. The reality is just that the system is incredibly stretched. Think about this. In California's first year of this mandate, up to 60% of kindergartners were flagged at once. That is simply too many struggling readers, way too few hours, and nowhere near enough resources for schools to offer the intensive, one-on-one focus that an at-risk child desperately needs to rewire those brain connections. And because of this huge strain, schools often resort to working around the problem rather than actually fixing it. Working around it looks like giving your child audiobooks, maybe extra time on tests, or having someone just read the questions aloud to them. That helps them cope, right? It helps them get through the day, but it does not fix the reading gap. Fixing the problem requires structured literacy, direct, explicit, intensive teaching of exactly how sounds and letters build into words. And a stretched school rarely delivers this at the necessary intensity. Okay, so what do you actually do with all of this information? Let's move to Section 5, your next best steps and how you take the reins back. You basically have 3 real options moving forward. Option 1 is to wait and see if the school's small group support works. But as we saw with that 88% statistic earlier, waiting costs precious time your child literally cannot get back. Option 2 is to get supplemental help immediately, like one-on-one structured literacy tutoring, which puts the power right back in your hands. And option 3 is to get answers first through a comprehensive dyslexia assessment. And let me tell you, if you want to know exactly what is going on, an independent dyslexia assessment is the absolute ultimate tool. Remember, the school screener cannot diagnose dyslexia. A full assessment gives you absolute clarity on whether it's dyslexia or just a past lack of proper instruction. But even more importantly, it gives you legal leverage. An at-risk letter all on its own won't qualify your child for an IEP. But by law, a school district must consider an outside, credible assessment. It's a game changer. So until you get that outside help or assessment, you are going to have a meeting with the school. And I want you to take these exact questions with you. Write them down. First, do not accept the composite score. Ask, which specific skills scored low? Second, ask, what intensive support begins right now? And third, how and when will progress be checked against peers reading at grade level? If their score hasn't moved by the next benchmark, their support isn't working. Period. I really want to leave you with this crucial reframing because it's so easy to panic. You did not get bad news. You got early news. This letter is not a penalty. It is a critical advantage. The system caught this while your child is still young enough for it to truly, truly matter. You are not late to the game, and you are entirely equipped to handle this. Ultimately, everything depends on what you do next. So, as you look at the plan your school provides, and as you consider maybe getting an independent assessment or finding outside structured literacy tutoring, I really want you to ask yourself this one lingering question. Is your child actually being taught how to read, or are they just being helped to cope through the school day? Because the answer to that question, it changes their entire future. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. You've totally got this. Go take action today.